Welcome back to our YouTube channel. We are continuing in our Managing Sexuality series, okay? I am Alexis Piper. If you are new to this series, I want to introduce myself to you. I am a womanhood maximized mentor and Christian lifestyle strategist, helping the young adult collegiate woman, trade school girl to blossom, flourish from facades of any kind so that you can come into womanhood in its most fulfilled state. Baby, it's levels to this, okay? Womanhood gets sweeter here, and I want to talk about to you today, men have needs. And your generation, as well as my generation, there was this thing about what the man could allow the woman to do. What he could do to get her to do what she needed to do to fulfill his needs. Now, I'm not talking about you being married. I'm talking about you out here just saying men got needs, and I love him, and I want to give him all of me, and I want to give him the best of me, and men have needs, and if I don't do this, then he gonna do that, and if I don't do this, then he's gonna do that. And you are in your area of sexuality and sensuality and feeling yourself and being invincible and, all the things, right? All the things. Hey, you been there, okay? Been there, done that. I understand, okay? But I have also learned some things, right? And it's a beauty in mending and maturity so that you can drop the facade of a misplaced identity, because sometimes you feel the need to give the man the goods and to over-sexualize your body, and the things that you give to a man is because you out here thinking that you want to make love and live your best life. Men have needs. You out here, having all of these hormones and having all of this sex drive and this sex appeal, and you out here living. Let's just be real. Can we just be real? Can we just be honest? Can we drop the facade of saying, okay, you might be in the church at your young adult age, your parents might be preachers or ministers or whatever, and you acting like you don't have these inward cravings and desires, or that you're not out here doing those things secretly. Okay, so in this, we keeping it real. This is free game, and we're keeping it real, and I'm going to call it. I'm going to shoot it straight to you, okay? I'm going to shoot it straight. I'm calling out, and I'm saying ain't no shame in the game. I have been there, done that, but I have learned. And so this womanhood being maximized and you dropping and flourishing from the facade is so that you can enter fulfilled state. So I want to subscribe to you today, suggest to you today that we're not going to subscribe to out here giving everything away because men have needs no more. Okay, we're not going to be out here being sensual with life in all of the wrong ways. So this video is, being sensual with life. Okay, a woman in this over sensualized culture and society, and these men in these relationships with all these expectations to just give freely of yourself, of your time, of your money, of your body. And because we are presented with a certain way of keeping a man, it's easy to buy into that's how you do it. It's easy to think that you're young and that you're grown, because you really think you're grown. You really believe that you're grown enough to be able to say, I got time to get it together. I'm in my 20s. I'm going to have me some fun. You may be one who has married young, and you feel like you're missing out on the fun. Your friends get to do all these things. Or you're married and you feel like you still going to do all the things. All these open relationships and situationships that's going on right now. And I want to suggest to you that we're not subscribing to that anymore. And you might be like, well, I can't just turn off that switch. I can't just turn off that my sex drive. I can't just turn that off. But remember, the series is about managing sex appeal. So we're going to learn how to manage. So how are you to now subscribe to your womanhood, dropping the facade of hiding behind sexual pleasure, of hiding behind sexual desire, of hiding behind sex appeal, of hiding behind a high sex drive, of hiding behind your identity being an output of whatever a man needs and whatever a man desires. How are we going to flourish beyond that and no longer subscribe to that? And that's by meeting yourself in your mended and mature place. You have to meet yourself in your mended and mature place. Oh, it's a journey, okay? It's a journey, but it's also a decision. It's a decision to now set some new standards for your sensuality and your sex drive and your sex appeal. We are talking about managing sex appeal. Yes, 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 yes. And so, number one, I want you to consider your expressions. I want you to consider your expressions. How are you seeing and tasting life? We're unsubscribing or no longer subscribing to the elements that I've already mentioned, and we're learning how to better manage and position the sex appeal. You want relational wellness, not relational dysfunction. You want to be sensual with life in a way that life welcomes you and holds you and secures you and allows your foundation to be set to where it's solid infrastructure. And a way to allow and introduce your womanhood to a solid infrastructure is to now set new standards. The standard was that, but now the standard is becoming your new decision. To honor you in a way to that you can be sensualized, be sensual with life in the way that you see and taste things. But see, this light bulb of decision is now going to require for you to develop a new taste bud. You see, the taste palette's going to have to change when you get that sugar craving. When you get that craving that you feel like you want to give into, there is a way out. There is a way not to give into the temptation, but you're going to have to allow yourself to come out of the element of convenience. You see, it's convenient for you to call him. It's convenient for you to go back to them. It's convenient for you to just give in, but it makes a decision for you to elevate your standard to flourish beyond the facade. You're not hiding behind the sex appeal, him, them, and their desires or yours. You're now allowing yourself to flourish into fulfillment when you mend and mature beyond the barrier of temptation called convenience. Are you following me? So what's on the other side of convenience? Because, convenience is going to lead to compromise of your new standards and what you no longer subscribing to. He can't get at you the way he got at you before. You can't get at him the way you got at him before. It can't be all those familiar spirits no more. It's going to have to come into this place to where the game changes. Oh, can I let you know that you are a game changer? And the game changer is going to change when you say, my standard is no longer that. My standard is now this. You're going to have to meet me in my intellectual property. You cannot meet me no longer in my intimacy. You're going to have to get intimate with me in my desires and my vision for my womanhood to elevate and to expand beyond how you have normally known me. Yes. Yes, see, the expressions of how you see and taste with yourself are going to have to come from now you learning how to be secure within yourself. Secure that if he leaves you because you don't give in to all his desires, that he wasn't meant for you. That he doesn't respect you the way, you thought he respected you, because now your eyes are open. You're no longer subscribing to convenience and temptation. You're now interacting and being sensual with life from a way to where you see and taste and experience yourself from your most fulfilled state. And it begins with your identity. And sometimes we're searching for it, and you're searching for it in what you can give up and do, and how they respond, and how they stroke you, and how they touch you, and all of that. It's temporary. It's momentary. I want you to come into momentum and maximization. Okay? Then number 2, you want to be able to be sensual with life now in this new standard of how you're expressing in a way that you see and taste from an elevated place. To come into number 2 being security. You want security in how you touch and feel as you are sensualized with life. You want security, and security can only come from a solid infrastructure. So if you're building your womanhood based off of this relationship, or based off of this feeling, or based off of this convenient thing, or based off of this area of compromise, and you rationalize your way into saying, well, just this time. Well, I'm used to him or them or that. So you want your security and your ability to now touch and feel with what is flourishing you, to now feel secure beyond who may leave you or who may be conditional to you. See, we've talked about convenience and compromise, but now let's talk about conditions and terms. See, you don't want to have security in what has conditions to if there will be a safe place for you to land only when you provide for them X, Y, and Z. You don't want your security. That's a false element of security. That's in a delusional state. That's a sensuality that is functioning in drunkenness. You drunk in love. You drunk on the alcohol, the substance, the whatever, okay, the D. And we're going to have you allow yourself to come into sobriety. Security is found in sobriety. Where are you able to get sober? Where are you able to come out of the delusion of the conditions that only shape you and secure you when you putting out all of the goods? When you're tolerating all of the maltreatments. You don't want security to be in malpractice. You don't want security to be in malpractice. You don't want security to be in malpractice. That is a delusion that harms you. I want you to start thinking long term. I want you to come into the momentum of yourself being maximized. You want to allow your security to be in a solid infrastructure, and security is in sobriety. And the only way that you can get sober and alert to how his words, his gifts, his soothsaying words are really seducing you to reduce your standards is to come into truth. To come into truth, the truth of having a solid infrastructure, the truth of flourishing into fulfillment, the truth of an anchoring of your identity that doesn't toss you back and forth when you experience a breakup, when you experience a broken engagement, when you experience poor decision making, when you experience regret because you gave in to the convenience and the temptation and it led you backwards instead of you feeling like you were moving forward. You want security with how you taste, touch, and feel in this life. On the inside of you, you want to feel safe. You want to not just feel safe, you want to know and be assured and secure in your safe place. And your safe place is in the higher God, the Lord Jesus Christ. Can I just let you know who he is? I'm not talking about the universe. I'm not talking about some higher power. I'm talking about your place of refuge. I'm talking about your chief, a cornerstone for you that can anchor you when you want to cry your tears and give into the temptation. The way out is to know, let me go forward, not backwards. Let me go deeper and grounded in my momentum so that I'm anchored and not loose. Okay? You want to be sensual with life in your sound. You have you know how to manipulate, okay? You know how to talk the game. You know how to talk the talk. You know how to you know how to speak in a way that can get what you want. You know how to talk in a way that can produce the outcome that you want to have. That's manipulative. You have the charisma. You work your sex appeal for the benefit of you. And you allow your sound to travel that path. Pitter patter. Pitter patter. Pitter patter is the sound of a woman who's really not anchored in her infrastructure. She's really tossed in the temptation and in what this man says and what that man says and what her body craves, because she hasn't found her anchoring and how to truly be sensual in life without compromising her values or disrupting and eating away at her core. I want you to come into core cultivation. I want you to come into a sound that speaks to your future self. I want you to come into the sound that will say, I love this for me. And in order for you sometimes to love something for you, you're going to have to leave things that disrupt that. I want you to start using your speech and your sound in a way that you hear yourself now, no longer compromising and criticizing or critiquing or downplaying your standards, but to speak in a way where you're now meeting yourself in significance. Meeting yourself in realizing that you're anchored, that you're now sober. He can't play that game on you no more. You're sober. You see it. You peep game. You peep why he's around you. You peep why you keep going back to him. You see it now. You understand the play and the scheme that's operating within that element of that relationship. That's relational dysfunction. That's malpractice. That's not momentum that's being maximized. That's not mending and maturing. And so your sobriety allows you to say no more. You're going to allow your sound to now affirm yourself in managing your sex appeal and how this man have needs. You're now managing yourself to say, but you know what? God has a need of me. My core has a need of me to not get compromised because my future has a position to help me to flourish that I just can't see yet. But I'm not going to get to my 40s or my 50s or my 30s or my husband and then realize that, I got some healing to do. You don't want to do. If you can allow your future self to thank you for the sobriety in your years now, let me tell you, you'll be unmatchable. You will be valuable and rare. Because now your standards have been raised to a place to where you only enter into God's best for you. I'm going to pause. I'm going to stop this right here. Pat yourself on the back for enduring, okay? Pat yourself on the back for taking in the nuggets. Pat yourself on the back for saying, I'm going to implement that. Oh, yes, that. Number one. Number two, expression, security, sound, somewhere up in there. I got something. Pat yourself on the back for listening through and not turning this off, because I know sometimes this is a hard conversation to be had, but I'm here to have the hard conversations because we have to come up out of the suffocation of society and the influence of sensuality and sex appeal that has been misplaced, misguided, or just not taught. Okay? Oh, I wish I had somebody that could give me some free game like this back in the day. Oh, how I wish. But let me tell you the beauty of answering the call, because there is a call for more that you hear within you. Whenever you revert back to him, them, that, you hear this call for more. And I want to encourage you to start answering and leaning into that. That call for more helps you to drop the facade and come into you flourishing. Men, mature, and master, okay? So I love you. God loves you even more. But how are you going to love yourself enough to love God back? loving God back. Sometimes, all the time, I realize that God loves us more than we love ourselves. This video is him loving you more than you love yourself. And so how are you going to choose to love God back? And you can do so by choosing to drop the facades and implement the expressions of security and the sound that will lead you into womanhood being maximized and you being in your most fulfilled state. No more settling. No more shrinking. Okay? No more compromising. All right? No more convenience. You can do it. I believe in you, okay? I believe in you. Search for the GOAT in the description box below because sometimes we need a little assistance. We need to invest in our own development. And our Hagar package is where you need to start, okay? It's where you need to start because it's going to deal with the issues that lay dormant and why you trapped in the facade, okay? And it's going to help you into coming into sobriety, into new taste palettes, into new taste bud, into speaking a different language. All right? Until next time, you know what to do. Let's do this.